The film opens with a scientist named Julian giving a lecture to students about an extinct member of the homogeneous Neanderthals, where Julian reveals that the only intact and non-petrified Neanderthal remains were discovered by his superior Godwin, and the specimen was named William. Before the class ends, Julian discloses that he has proposed to other scientists to use William's DNA to create or clone Neanderthals so it can live in the present days. Sometime later, another scientist in the field of medicine and biotechnology named Barbara becomes very interested in what Julian presented in his lecture. She then meets Julian at a restaurant and starts discussing the possibility of cloning. When they met, Barbara mentioned that the process was no easy, but not impossible. However, Julian's enthusiasm made her curious about why he was so interested in Neanderthal shearing this. Julian then took Barbara to his laboratory and showed her some stones, one made by Homo sapiens and the other by Neanderthals. Julian then emphasized that reviving Neanderthals could provide very valuable insig HTS for modern human shearing. This explanation convinced Barbara to try the process after receiving approval from the university. The two scientists begin working on their project. Over time, feelings develop between them, leading to a romantic relationship. However, their Neanderthal cloning project faced setbacks, causing disputes among the board members. Additionally, ethical dilemmas arise regarding funding a human cloning project. Ultimately, the university president, Bob, decides to shut down the project entirely. This disappoints the two scientists, who have dedicated their time, effort, and thoughts to the project. Not long after, Barbara was seen considering the problems they were facing and suggested that they continue the process on their own. However, they still had a major issue: how to transport the embryo from the storage room. Strangely, Barbara confidently volunteered, and after agreeing on all the plans, the two scientists moved to Nevada to get married and start a new life. A few months later, Barbara gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and they named him William. The next day, Julian returns to the university to announce the successful birth of a Neanderthal. However, the Angers did not expect Julian to continue the project secretly. After that, the president quickly arranges a meeting with the board to plan the next steps. During the meeting, one board member suggests suing Julian for using university assets without permission, but Bob rejects the idea, saying that the university could also be held accountable. Since initially approved the project, a few days later, Julian holds a press conference where he shows some photos of the first Neanderthal baby living in the modern world. Julian also states that, although William is not biologically related to him, he still considers himself a proud heart full of love and dedication to providing the best for William, and committed to supporting his growth, happiness, and confused efforts. The scene then shifts to some time later, when William has grown up. The young man is now on a ferry crossing the water. His facial features very distinctive and unique. After disembarking from the ferry, Barbara then drives him to a house in a remote location near the forest. Shortly after, William gives his mother one last hug before she leaves. Before that, Barbara tells him that he can come back anytime he wants. After that, William enters the house where he will live with his father. Juliana looks around. A woman suddenly approaches and introduces herself as Sarah. It is revealed that she is Julian's girlfriend, and they now live together. During dinner, Sarah watches in amazement at how William consumes food very differently. Julian then explains that William's body mass and metabolism require 20% more calories than an average human. After dinner, Julian chats with William, expressing his pride in his son for trying to learn more about modern human life. The next day, the couple begins teaching William the basics of language to expand his limited understanding. It seems that he struggles with understanding humor and metaphors. Several days later, Julian was seen explaining in a class, adding explanations about the strong reactions people had towards William when he was first introduced to the world. According to the scientist, William developed the same or slightly higher intelligence than Homo sapiens children. Additionally, his immune system is far stronger and more adaptive than that of other humans, which greatly aids medical studies. As Julian continues speaking, the scene shifts again, showing the past, showing the problems in Juliana and Barbara's relationship leading to their divorce. It turned out Julian wanted to continue the experiments, while Barbara, with her maternal instincts, refused to let their child be a subject. After their divorce, as a single parent, Barbara took custody of William and began raising him, while Julian occasionally visited to see how William was adapting and interacting with his surrounding. Additionally, he always keeping an eye on his well-being from afar, ensuring that William grew up well and received the necessary support to face the challenges of living in the modern world. One day, William is shown riding a bicycle when he's harassed by a group of delinquent teenagers, who start following him, not wanting to be bullied. William pedals his bike as fast as she can, and in his panic becomes careless and false. In fact, humans are generally much smarter than Neanderthals, but physically Neanderthals are far stronger than average humans. After the incident, the parents of the delinquent teenagers reported to the police, but the officer dismissed it, considering it not a big issue, reasoning that the incident was just a minor altercation among children that did not require legal intervention. Although the situation caused concern for William's family at home, Barbara tends to William's injuries and warns him not to attack anyone again. That night, William surfs the internet to find articles about Neanderthals. When opening one of the articles, William sees that another name for Neanderthals is brutish and stupid caveman, which makes him very sad, because he feels discriminated against and unappreciated as part of human history. The Sen. Ethan fast-forwards several years to show William as a teenager taking an exam at school. During the process, he accidentally breaks his pencil due to excess energy after finishing the exam. William's friend, a girl named Judy, approaches and invites him to her house to practice together for an upcoming drama performance. However, William has to decline because he has already made plans to go camping with his friends. Nevertheless, William promises to practice together another day, expressing his desire to stay involved and contribute fully to the drama preparations despite having to postpone his meeting with Judy after school matters are settled. William and his friends head to the forest for their camping trip. While relaxing and enjoying the evening near the campfire, they are suddenly approached by a couple of strangers. At that moment, they immediately chat and drink together, until one of William's friends accidentally reveals that William is a Neanderthal. This information astonishes and amazes the couple. The woman, who was curious, asks William if he wishes to return to the past, to a time where everything was in sync with him. Hearing this, William confidently answers yes, expressing his longing to understand deeply about his origins and his role in human evolution. A few days later, William and his friends perform in a drama play where Judy is also there, and the play ends with an intimate scene that leaves William feeling emotional. Unfortunately, those feelings are not reciprocated in the way he had hoped, highlighting how difficult it is for him to express his feelings to Judy in the context of a deeper relationship. On the other hand, Julian and Barbara were seen in a meeting with a guidance counselor, where the counselor explains that William's struggle to achieve success is quite satisfactory. The counselor also suggests that William receive intensive guidance, as it will be very beneficial in the future, but he needs to register because Barbara withdrew the previous registration. Upon hearing this, Julian became extremely angry, which resulted in a heated argument between the two, where Barbara wants William to start working immediately after graduation, while Julian wants William to continue his education and live with him. Fortunately, the guidance counselor offers a fair suggestion, asking that William make the decision, since in a few weeks she will become an adult who needs to make decisions about his future, with full consideration and responsibility. One evening, William and two friends are seen at the beach. While relaxing, they discuss college applications and which universities have accepted them. Additionally, they also mention Judy going to Columbia University. Hearing this, the sadness on William's face is evident. Ash's future remains uncertain when her turn shown. William talks to his parents to decide, and Julian enthusiastically explains the research on William's immune system that could help millions of people. After a moment of thought, William decides to stay with his father on the condition that he's allowed to continue his education without hesitation. Julian agrees, and William is asked to prepare everything as she needs to take the entrance exam for his chosen university. Back in the present day, Julian was seen checking on William's test results, and he's disappointed with the ranking and scores. This leads Julian to vent this anger on Sarah, accusing her of failing to guide William properly. At that moment, William tries to defend her, but this only makes his father angrier, expressing deep frustration and dissatisfaction with his educational situation. Sometime later, both try to calm down and forget what happened, where Sarah also tells Julian that William has made significant progress. To encourage him, she takes William for a walk around the forest. During this moment, Sarah shares her story about parents who had future plans, similar to what is happening with William. Now after that she eventually lifts William's spirits by discussing various topics and making him indulge in one of his pleasures. Singing the situation brings them close. William starts feeling love again. Fortunately this time, the feelings are reciprocated with warmth and understanding, from Sarah, creating a deeper bond between them. The next day, Sarah takes William to an university for his entrance exam where she also wishes William good luck and says she will pick him up later. However, William behaves coldly, showing the lingering tension from the previous event, though he knows Sarah only wants to support him and wish him success in his exam. During the exam, William experiences the same issue, breaking several pencils and feeling very out of place because the environment is so different from his old school. Frustrated, William leaves the room feeling chaotic, as if nothing is going according to plan, and doubting his ability to adapt to the new university environment. As she walks, people stare, laugh, and even take pictures of his face because they find it strange. William ends up going to see Godwin. At that moment she immediately recognizes William and begins to explain how it all started while showing him the perfectly preserved original Neanderthal body. After observing closely, William concludes that neither North Neanderthal before him belongs in this time or place. Meanwhile, Sarah, who is waiting outside, starts to worry because William hasn't appeared. The entrance exam is finished because of this. Sarah then gathers the courage to contact Barbara and explain the situation. The scene then shifts back to William sneaking into Julian's class, where he finds his father giving a lecture about Neanderthals and saying derogatory things about the races. Julian explains the role of Neanderthal cloning in the future. William suddenly interrupts, claiming his father is wrong and that his research has failed, not wanting to be embarrassed. Julian harshly responded that William was a failure, and William agreed, deciding to leave. Seeing this, Julian immediately chased after him, expressing his regret, but William rejected him, stating that Julian was not his father. This led to a fight between them. People around quickly intervened to break it up, and some called the police, forcing William to flee. After the incident, Sarah and Barbara continued searching for William. Meanwhile, the police also began patrolling the area. Not long after, Sarah finds William at the university, but the police have already surrounded the area. At that moment, the pauses, momentarily recognizing a familiar face among the police. Suddenly, William is shot and instantly killed. It is unclear whether he was trying to attack the police or flee, but this tragic incident leaves deep questions and profound sadness for Sarah, Barbara, and everyone who knew William. The film concludes with Sarah visiting the excavation site where Neanderthal William was found, and she is seen holding a baby boy, likely William's child. The end. Moral lesson from the story: don't try to clone ancient humans unless you're prepared to deal with them, breaking penicillin and causing boardroom drama. And remember, just because you can clone ancient humans doesn't mean you should. It might ruin your dinner parties and your love life.